like the way that at the start of the evening it just took one glass to quieten the crowd, and now it's taking a couple more. We're gonna hear from the bride now, from Gwen. Oh nope, sorry. We're gonna hear from the bridesmaids.
Height order, cameras rolling. We're good. A teacher, a doctor, and a minister walked into a wedding wearing pink. So I can only conclude that Gwen thought this was a pretty good joke, or that she thought we were trustworthy enough to hold up her beautiful dress while she peed. Either way, we're very happy to be here, and I'll start with some introductions, which are probably unnecessary, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm Caitlin from Canberra. This is Caitlin from Canberra. We date back in the Gwen friendship log to high school years in the sleepy bush capital of Australia. From there, as many Canberrans do, Gwen moved on to bigger and better things. Grander cities, more exotically named friends. So we have Quetzal from Sydney. In keeping with tradition, I'll begin by thanking the groomsmen. Not only do they make us look excellent, we've also really enjoyed getting to know them and have some appropriately love and marriage related tidbits to share with you. Aurelian, ladies, he's single, went out of his way to get a haircut to look good for today's proceedings. Kenny, ladies, unfortunately is unavailable. Although I have it on good authority, he's a little too busy to get married. There are 3 kids involved, it's all very honourable. Just put your assumptions away. And Ronan is happily married. Although he did manage to lose his wedding ring while kayaking yesterday, so this may have changed in the meantime. As I learnt in a recent course entitled Effective Communication Among Singles and Groups, How to Get People to Get Things Done, tailoring your communication style to your audience is all important. Dressed as we are in pretty pink things and firmly aligned with a particular side of the aisle today, I have to conclude that our target audience is none other than Mrs. Gwen Lawler. I'm sorry, Gwen. This is an earlier and more emotional version of the speech. It should read Gwen Cruz. With this in mind, tonight's speech will be delivered in a format that we know will resonate with Gwen and that she will understand. A comprehensive listing of categorised information, pros and cons, detailed multi-step lists, complexities of life boiled down to an intricate 3D grid of numbers, every aspect of the data set perfectly balanced. In other words, we have a spreadsheet for you.
Column 1, family. There from the beginning, a pretty good place to start. This column has been covered by Leo, and I was really glad to hear that Gwen was a precocious child who pitted her parents against each other, because let's be honest, we've all done it. So moving on, column number 2, travel. Now, this fits in really well in Gwen's life because it was there from the start. As a DFAT brat, travel was in her heart. And we all know this is a really, 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 really long column because we started to write it and we couldn't do it. So we've broken it down into some statistics for you all. So here we go. Time spent in places in the world. 0% Antarctica. 1% North America. 12% Africa. 12% Middle East, 33% Asia, 42% Europe, and it does equal 100. We checked. Of that time, we estimate that 10% of the travel has been done with family, 10% has been done alone, and 80% has been done with Mr. Lawler. Thank you. We are a smooth-oiled machine here. Caitlin and Caitlin and Caitlin. Column number 3, education. Also, a rather long column. Primary school and high school in Canberra, a little bit of boarding and a little bit abroad. University in Sydney, not 1 degree, but 2. So the running total, as we think that Gwen is a typical member of our generation, she's likely academically overqualified for any job she will do, but is still contemplating a master's. So watch that space. Column number 4, friends/friendship. The friendship dataset even, intersects at many points with the education column. We've done some legal data mining, and we've discovered that Gwen is excellent at making lifelong friends. She met Caitlin Corkill when they were 11 years old. Just last year, having their 13th next week. The data shows that her friends perceive Gwen as friendly, intelligent, witty, polite, particular, a deep thinker, trustworthy, able to direct and delegate, and functions best when fueled by sleep and caffeine. And we know that there are many, many people in this room who are so grateful for her wisdom, her loyalty, her listening ear, and her generous heart. And it's a sign of true friendship that you cannot see her for years, but it feels like you are only talking to her yesterday. When this data is cross-referenced with a multitude of shared experiences and processed by the inbuilt Excel function that we have built called Child Becomes Adult, this leaves us with the outstanding woman we see here today that we all feel lucky to call a friend. And the final column on our spreadsheet for today, and probably the most important for the day, is Gwita 17. Through our collective powers, this is how we kind of think we remember their meeting taking place. The phone call went something like this. So, Caitlin, I have some news. I met a boy scuba diving on the Red Sea, and he's Irish. His name is Peter. It was quite the introduction to Peter Lawler, and in my mind, I still haven't been able to figure out, it looks a bit like a Bond scene in my mind, a James Bond movie, and I can't figure out if it's Peter coming out of the water like James Bond, or Gwen coming out of the water like Halle Berry, but we'll find out, I'm sure, in Peter's speech.
So the next we hear, she has followed him to Ireland and missed her flight back to Sydney. And we all thought, what has happened to Gwen? This wasn't in her spreadsheet, and then the fun began. Now, we've all done some time as a Peter substitute, while they had them many years apart. I suffered through way too many a Skype date, and this was before pre-wireless and when we had poor connection. And then Peter arrived. Much joy was felt throughout the colonies. They stayed for a bit and then abandoned us for the mother country via India for proposal number 1 and then Nepal for proposal number 2. By the time they arrived in the motherland, Gwen was sure and accepted her amazing ring. So for a girl who has had some troubles making decisions, large and small, we think you have made an excellent decision here today, marrying Peter. We wanted to reference Queen Bee, but it turns out none of her lyrics were particularly romantic. checked. Or sufficiently soppy enough for this section of the spreadsheet, thank you. But Gwen, we will butcher her lyrics later on the dance floor. We found another song that puts love on top. It is very appropriate for a couple who loves to travel and for a wedding taking place in Ireland. Thanks for getting married here. We can all take European and Mediterranean holidays. It's a song entitled Voyage by the Irish Tenors.
And it goes something like this. I'm a sailor and you're my first mate. We've signed on together, we coupled our fate. We hauled up our anchor, determined not to fail. For the heart's treasure together, we set sail. With no maps to guide us, I'm not singing, we steer our own course. My mother tried to get me to sing this yesterday, it's not happening. A few more champagnes. With no maps to guide us, we steer our own course. We'll ride out the storms when the winds are gale force. We'll sit out the doldrums in patience and hope. Working together, we learn how to cope. Life is an ocean, love is a boat. In troubled waters, it will keep us afloat. We've started the voyage, there's just me and you. Now gathered around us, we have the crew. Together we're in this relationship. We've built it with care to last the whole trip. Our true destination is not marked on any chart. We're navigating for the shores of the heart.
To finish, we feel both honoured and privileged to make the first toast of the evening. While ordinarily it would be our role to toast the beautiful bride on her own, we're all modern day feminists and we'd really like to toast the couple. Peter and Gwen, please charge your glasses. To an excellent couple, we wish you all the very best.